Hi, and welcome to Across the Desk. This week, we're going to discuss more of that big conservative government when it comes to Shane Jett and Julie Daniels of the Senate of Oklahoma and Eccles of the House of Representatives coming along and forcing their religious beliefs and views upon you. There is a Senate Bill 404, and this is a law that passed a while back. It's called the Oklahoma Religious Freedom Act, and it does a few things in the furtherance of religious freedom. Well, they added some amendments. They passed the Senate, passed the House. It goes on to the governor, who's almost positive to sign them. And what it relates to is they added sections to where you can't deny a person or an entity. You can't exclude them from receiving state or federal funds if they're a religious organization or not. This is an absolute violation of the First Amendment. Here we go again. Conservatives hating that First Amendment. We already know they hate freedom of expression, trans people. We already know they hate freedom of speech, banning books, banning music, banning movies, banning thought even. We already know they hate assembly too, when you have people in Florida trying to outlaw the Democratic Party. And now here we got another attack on the First Amendment by forcing taxpayers to support a religious view that they may not support with their tax money. You know, this is where conservatives always like to do the likes to dish it, just not all that brave when it comes to taking it, because they love to talk about how, hey, my taxpayer money shouldn't go to fund abortions. My taxpayer money shouldn't go to fund these things I don't believe in. But here they are forcing people like me, who are taxpayers, to pay for their religious views and shove them down people's throats. Because that's what they want. That's what they believe. And that's exactly where we get with people like Shane Jett. I've done a show on him earlier this year. He's so anxious and so fearful that he has to force you to believe what he believes. I think it's probably because people like this, they want to force their beliefs. No. You have to be a Christian. We have to force you to practice our rituals. We have to force you to hold to our charms. Because you see, people like Shane Jett, they have questions about their own beliefs. And if you don't have any questions about his beliefs, well, he won't have any either. See, he won't feel so anxious about what he believes in or that he questions it from time to time. And he really doesn't like it that anybody else questions it who absolutely doesn't believe in it, because it makes him question it more, makes him more anxious, makes him uncomfortable. So he has to write a law that says, hey, my religious views trump everything else. And that's what you see. You see it from people like even James Lankford. You know, religious freedom. He even says, hey, religious freedom trumps all rights. And he absolutely believes this. His religious freedom trumps your freedom of speech. His religious freedom trumps your religious freedom. His religious freedom trumps your freedom of expression, your ability to vote, your ability to have a thought, your ability to wear the clothes that you want to wear. Absolutely. His religion trumps all of it. And he's even said so before. He's even said it. And people like Shane Jett believe it. They believe it. And here we go. Shane Jett, Julie Daniels, who's another one who keeps blocking all kinds of bills and prospects from people if they don't rub her shoulder the right way. But anyway, getting on to this Religious Freedom Act. So basically, they add some language to it. And the language says, a person or entity shall not be denied funding, government, state, or otherwise, due to their religious views, solely on their religious views. So I guess they could be denied in other ways. I guess they leave a little bit of a gray area, probably. So say, hey, but we're not denying you these funds based on your religious views. We're going to deny them based on that your views suck. I don't know. We can't do that, I guess. Could never do that anyway, probably. You couldn't just do that, hey, man, we don't believe in your views, so we're going to cut you off. Probably can't do that. But that's not what this does. This actually goes a step further to saying, hey, my religious views trump everything else. You have to pay for my religious views. My religious views are so great that you have to pay for them, which is kind of weird, you know? I mean, if their religious views are so great, why do we have to pay for them? They should be able to pay for themselves if they're so wonderful. But here you go. That's what you get with people like Shane Jett, people like Julie Daniels, and people like John Eccles. They are so anxious and fearful of their own religious beliefs that they have to force you to believe in theirs. And they're going to take our money, our taxpayer money, and use it in ways to force you to do it. That's what this is all about. This is all about turning Oklahoma into a Christo-fascist state. That's what it is. That's where Governor Stitt is. He wants everybody to be Christians. He wants them all to be Christians that are here. No diversity at all. They're trying to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We don't want that. We only want you to be Christians in Oklahoma. We're not going to include anybody else. We're not going to give equity to anyone else who doesn't believe in our Christian values, our Christian beliefs that James Lankford believes in, that Shane Jett believes in, and that Julie Daniels believes in, and that absolutely Governor Stitt believes in. They want to force this upon you. You don't have those First Amendment freedoms as far as conservatives are concerned. They really absolutely hate the First Amendment. You can see it all over the place. Ryan Walters, I mean, come on, man, the guy is banning books on the black experience. He's banning books on the gay experience. He's banning books on any experience that isn't his experience or that he doesn't think you should have. You shouldn't learn about that. You should be ignorant to those things. That way, because when we want to hate those things, it's easier to hate because we don't know them. We're ignorant to them. See, and if more ignorant that people like Ryan Walters stays, well, the easier it is for them to hate those things. And that's where he's at. He wants you to be so ignorant on everything else because that's where they are. Ryan Walters, Shane Jett, Julie Daniels, Eccles, that's where they're at. They're enforcing a Christian religion, a Christian state upon everybody because they truly fear. They fear life. They really believe that the end of the world's going to come and everything's going to be really bad and horrible and that we need to save the planet from everybody who doesn't believe that Christ is coming back from wherever and whenever. So this is where they're at. And especially people like Shane Jett. That guy is a total theocrat. That's what we're dealing with here. Theocrats. These are absolute theocratic authoritarians. They hate the Constitution. They're absolutely going against it when they do amendments to a bill like this. Now the weird thing is when they did this bill a few years back, they were really careful to make sure it followed constitutional norms and that it couldn't be attacked. And all they did now was really open it up for that, I think. Maybe that's what they want. They want to see that attack. But I don't think it's going to go like they think. As people like me do not have to fund their religious views, especially if those religious views are exclusionary. So we can't exclude religious entities from getting funding, but they can exclude the public from everything they do and keep our funding. They don't even have to account for it. There's no accountability. There's no teeth to go after them if they misuse millions of taxpayer dollars. See? And that's the point, right? There's no teeth in any of this. Just like with Ryan Walters. See, he wants to give all these $300 million to private school parents with no accountability attached. No way to follow the dollars and no way to punish people if they take the money. But see, that's the point. Because they're going to take the money. See? And they don't want to be caught, or really, they don't care if they get caught. They just don't want to be reprimanded or have to face any consequences for doing it. Because it's what they plan to do. Same thing here, see? People like Shane Jett plan to force his religious views upon you. First Amendment, be damned. Pun totally intended. So, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. With all of this, here in Oklahoma, with SB 404 and the amendment going in, it's probably going to be signed by the governor because it passed the Senate, passed the House in our gerrymandered state with very radical, right-wing, Christian theocrats. And that's where they're at. That's why they do the things they do in the legislature. That's why they censured Maury Turner for doing nothing. Because, see, she's goes against what they think. They want to be able to stop her First Amendment rights to do anything. They want to take her power away. And that's what conservatives are all about. And that's what this bill does here. So this bill is designed to make it easier to pass legislation to send our taxpayer money to religious schools, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of money to them without any accountability, without any consequences for bad actors, and without any input from anybody else. And anybody else is just, well, you're too bad. You're not a Christian, you're a Muslim, well, that's going to go for our Christian beliefs. You're an atheist, that's too bad. Your taxpayer money is going to go for our Christian beliefs you don't believe in. Because see, that's the way conservatives are. That's how they are. It's just how they are today. And I hope everybody understands that. People like Shane Jett are icky people. He really hates our freedoms. He hates the Constitution of the United States of America, and especially the First Amendment. See, that's what conservatives are, just like James Lankford. If he can't use that First Amendment like a cudgel, then it's not worth anything to them. It's not worth anything to you as far as they're concerned. Well, this is Across the Desk, and we will see you next week.